About 80,000 social grant beneficiaries are yet to migrate from SASSA gold cards to black cards. With fewer than 1 day left before the August 31st deadline, Postbank has issued a final appeal to social grant beneficiaries. Now, Postbank says the deadline would not be extended and urged affected beneficiaries to complete the migration as soon as possible to avoid interruptions to their grant payment services. Well, for more on this, we are joined by Postbank Chief Commercial Officer Thami Cele. Thami, thank you very, very much. It's a pleasure having you here on the program.
Thank you, Leanne. Good morning, and good morning to the listeners as well.
Perhaps you can just give us some live figures this morning in terms of gold card users. How many of them are still outstanding, and can we get these people processed by the deadline?
Well, Leanne, I think firstly, I'd like to appreciate and thank all of the beneficiaries that have actually switched to the Postbank Black Card. We are now sitting at over 1.8 million beneficiaries that are currently utilizing this Postbank Black Card. As you said, we are left with just over 80,000 beneficiaries that we are still urging to come forward and collect their Postbank Black Card, because the gold card will not work anymore. It is important for them to access their grant by coming to collect their Postbank Black Card.
Okay, so let's get this straight. Come September the 1st, 2026, any social grant funds left on an unmigrated gold card, what happens to the funds? Will they be frozen and completely inaccessible?
No, so your money that is in your account remains available to you as a beneficiary. The new grant that comes in into that same account. The cards are just a mechanism for you to access those funds if you want to go to the ATM. On the 1st of September, the gold card will not work. You will have to come and collect the Postbank Black Card first in order to then access your funds.
If you haven't collected that card, let's just hypothetically speak and say, okay, I don't want to collect the card beforehand, but I'll collect it on the 1st when the funds are paid. Is that still fine? Will you be able to the money will be paid into that account whether you have it or not? Is that correct?
Importantly, your grant is not interrupted. It will be paid as it always been paid every single month. Equally importantly, is that if you want to wait until the 1st or the 2nd when the grant is paid, you are running the risk of inconvenience, because then you are going to have to come and collect the card first before you get your funds.
Obviously,
whereas what we say to beneficiaries is that come now, whilst it's possible, and you don't run into unforeseen issues, when it's now time for you to have access to your funds.
I can imagine there's an issue of activating that card. I mean, that's my logic speaking, that card that's sitting at Postbank, if it's just there, nobody's collected it, it isn't activated, but once you collect it, it will be activated and the funds will then go into the card.
Two important things there, Leanne. One, yes, the card is waiting for you to come and collect it. It gets activated as soon as you collect it. It takes less than 3 minutes to get the card. And that's the first thing. The second thing is that the card will work immediately after you've collected it. That's the second part. I think the third part that's important to state as well, Leanne, is that all we need from the beneficiary is their ID. That's all. Whether it's a smart ID, it's a smart card ID, it's a green book ID, or it's a temporary ID. All we need is just one of those. And as soon as you are being assisted, it will take 3 minutes for you to get your new card. Okay. And you can even use that card immediately after that. Yeah. And then the fourth important point, Leanne, is that you do not have to go back to SASSA to register for anything. You just have access to the funds immediately you've collected the card.
Is somebody allowed to collect it on behalf of another person, or does the person have to physically be there to collect their own card with what you have explained you need to bring along?
Unfortunately, no. So we have to ensure that we verify that you are the person that you say you are. So one of the things that we do is we are going to do a fingerprint verification. Even all of that takes within the 3 minutes, when we do it. So yes, you need to come yourself as an individual.
So KwaZulu-Natal, from what I'm reading, KZN, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Gauteng, these are the provinces that hold most of the backlog at this point in time. Talk to us about what are you doing there? Have you added more staff to the sites? How are we going to ensure that you meet this deadline and people actually get there and get served as fast as possible?
Again, two things to highlight there, Eliane. Firstly, we are operating, at a lower volumes than we expected. So people are not coming at the numbers that we wanted them to come through, and therefore we have the capacity to service, anyone who comes forward on the day. The second thing that's interesting is that it's the young people, the child grant beneficiaries that are mostly, I think 90% of them are the ones that haven't collected out of those areas specifically. So the old age grant beneficiaries seem to have listened to the call and have come forward, and 90% of the ones that are remaining are child grant. And that's why we urge people to come as soon as they can.
Okay,
but we've
that's
got the
interesting.
capacity, we've got the branches. I think the important thing for people to do is to check, of the partners that we work with, to identify the stores that we are swapping the cards. And they can do this by dialing our USSD store locator, which is *120 *355 hash. And that will then direct you which one of the ShopRite, Spars, Boxers, and Pick and Pays are able to swap the card for you.
Okay, that's a good one. Can you repeat that number? I want people, if they missed it, just to get it again.
Yeah. It is *120 *355 hash.
Okay.
You will just state which area you are from, a province and the area, and then it will SMS you a list of stores that are available for you.
So I want to ask you about this now. You've kind of told me that most of the people that haven't collected are those that are for child grants. But in terms of people that are bedridden, they're disabled, they can't get there, I know that there are home visits. How do people still apply for a home visit so that they can switch the card? Is this still possible now?
It is possible, Leanne, but what we found last year when we did open it up is that we were actually getting younger people calling us and asking to be home visited, which was an interesting, and they were really blocking the calls for the people who are really desperately in need to be home visited, which we certainly are open to doing. The biggest challenge now that we sit with is that if we open it up again this time around, we are urging those who are young people not to be the first one to ask, to come to be visited at home. If someone wants to be visited genuinely, which we will have to still verify, they can go to the sites. They can send someone to the sites rather to request, for a home visit, or they can call us on our toll-free number, which is 0800 53 5455.
Okay, just one final question, and I think quite an important one, because, this migration followed a security key compromise identified in 2021. We now sit where we are in these final days of 2026, with tens of thousands still outstanding. How sure are you that this is going to go ahead and safely, and that they are not going to have any security breaches or any glitches that are going to happen?
Absolutely, Leanne. I think the important thing is we are sitting with over 1.8 million beneficiaries that are successfully using the card, protected, at all times. So we certainly do not foresee that we will run into any of those issues. But I think it's important to state that one of the key purposes for changing these cards is you have an account with your bank, wherever you bank. Your credit card and your debit card, right now as we speak, has an expiry date. And that expiry date is what we're also trying to replace our cards with. And the reason why it's got an expiry date is because every 5 years or 7 years, there's an improved security on the chip. And you give an opportunity for customers to be able to get an upgraded security on the chip as well. And this is one of the main reasons we are doing this as well.
Okay, great. We'll watch on this very closely, just hoping that there aren't any blackouts or system outages or anything like that, and people can get their money. Thami, sorry, I've just seen a message come through. One final question, and very quickly, if people don't, whenever they collect their card, will they be able to access? Is there a grace period of how many months before you actually destroy the card, or can they collect it any time?
You can collect it anytime. The only difference is the longer you wait, it just means that you can't have access to your funds until you've collected the card. I think beneficiaries must work out that way. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thami, thank you. I'm hoping we've given the viewers out there as much information as possible. Thami Cele is the Postbank Chief Commercial Officer, making a final appeal to social grant beneficiaries. Please, there are about 80,000 of you out there who have yet to migrate from the South African Social Security Agency Gold Card to the new Postbank Black Card. You've got to get it, otherwise you can't access your grants. So it's very, very important that you go and you fetch that card with your ID document.